Hello. Today I've been asked to make a card, a Bendi fold card that we've made in the past. And so I'm going to show you how to put this card together. And it's actually very simple. It comes in 4 pieces, and let's get started. So you have I have two pieces of Marina Mist here. One is going to be for the back of the card, and then a slightly smaller one. I'll have all the measurements written down, but a slightly smaller one for the front of the card, and this is the one we're going to be stamping on. I'm going to have 2 strips of the Marina Mist in, they're 6 inches long by, this one's 2 inches wide, and this is 1 3/4 inches wide. And from these you're going to use the die cuts for the 3 little trees and the one for the sleigh rider. And I've already put these through the Big Shot, and you want to put them in about 1 inch for this one, and as close to the top as you possibly can. So we'll take this off of here. They're rather delicate because they are small and thin dies, and I did tape this one on so that it wouldn't shift. So let's see if I can get it off of here without tearing the sleigh. There we go. Okay, and then you'll have to use your tool to push out some of them. And then you'll also need to have a pair of scissors handy and cut the edges here on the tabs. Now these are scored at 1/2 inch on either side to make the tabs for this card. So we'll cut that off there. So this is what you have for the sleigh ride. And then for the other one, the trees have trunks on them, and that part of it is very delicate. So see if I can use this scoring tool to punch it out of here. I don't want to use the piercing tool because I don't want to poke a hole in the trees. If you can see this, sorry, I might be off camera there. Okay, so take this one up. There we go. So then you're going to want to take the top piece off, and you're going to want to snip this on the edge as well, following the curve like that. Okay, so you can have the excess. This is what you're left with. Maybe you can't see that, so we'll see here. So this is what you're left with here. Okay, and then on these 2 particular pieces, you're going to take some Night of Navy ink and a sponge dauber. I have one here that's dedicated to Night of Navy. I'm going to ink that up, and then you're going to dab it on the horse and the sleigh and really darken them up. It doesn't take much, but there you can see that I've darkened them up. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the Night of Navy and kind of swoosh it along the top like that. Okay, so there's the sleigh rider. Then you're going to do the same thing to the trees, and be very careful. Don't rub back and forth because the trunks are very thin, very delicate there. So you're just going to dab the ink on, just like you did with the sleigh rider. And once again, just kind of swoosh along the top edge to give it some color. Okay, so we'll set those aside to dry. Let me get the top of this little tree here one more time. Okay, so they're nice and solid in the Night of Navy ink. So we'll put that away. And I've gone ahead and I have stamped my sentiment for the card, the Merry Christmas. And I used a recent stamp set for this. This is from the Arrange a Wreath, and I used the little Merry Christmas here for that. And so I stamped that in Night of Navy ink, and I used the stitched nesting oval dies to cut that out, and then the next larger one to cut out a frame for it. And so we'll just glue this together so that we have that ready to go. So put some glue on there. You kind of want to make sure you get it out towards the edges because this is going to kind of pop up a little bit. You don't want it to pop off the matted piece, the matting piece on the back. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Now for your card base, let's go ahead now and stamp what we need for the background. So I'm going to bring in my piercing mat and stamp pad mat. It does double duty. The piece of scratch paper and to put it on top. Okay, and so we're going to be using these trees from a retired set called Happy Seasons. Sometimes I just hang on to these old sets because my granddaughter wants to take over. So I want to keep the sets for her to pick from before she decides what's going to stay and what's going to go. So I have the trees. I'm going to stamp them in Night of Navy ink, starting in the middle and about halfway up. So you can just kind of gauge where that's at and stamp the trees. And then you're going to come over to the side and try to match up the hill line a little bit. Doesn't matter if it's right on it or not, but just have the trees on the cardstock. There we go. And then one more for the other side. And I'm going to stamp that right about there. So there you have all of the trees. I'm just going to clean the ink off of this rather quickly so that it doesn't dry it. Okay, so that's the Night of Navy trees. Then I'm going to take a sponge dauber. I have a little plate here as a palette, and I'm going to take a drop of glycerin and a drop of the white, Whisper White ink refill. I'm going to take 2 drops of that. It's rather thick and it takes a little while to dry. Okay, so my sponge dauber, I'm going to blend the glycerin and the white paint or re-inker together. Get quite a bit on there, and then I'm going to just kind of swish the snow around under the trees. Okay, see that? I hope that shows up. Okay, and I'm just kind of going to do that all around the base here. Doesn't have to be all over the entire thing, but leaving some of the blue in there to give you the essence of that it could be snow. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the 2 pieces for the Sleigh Ride. And get some snow on here. Now on my old card, I didn't do it this way. I used some stamp sets to stamp it. As you can see, I'll show you here. I think it was the waterfront and the snow front stamp sets that had these stamps in there. But I like it better when it's smoother. And I don't necessarily have those sets available. So then let's do the trees. And same thing, just kind of scatter rub the ink around. Okay, so there's your 3 pieces that we've already done. I'm going to set that aside. Now, when you dedicate a sponge dauber to the glycerin and the white in particular re-inker, you could wash this right away with soap and water when you're done, or you can leave it and it will reconstitute itself if you put some glycerin on your palette and let it set in it for a little bit, and then the hardness will go away and you can put some more ink on there and use it again. So either way, you should probably keep it in a little plastic bag if you're going to do that. All right, so let's add some snow. This is also from the Happy Scenes. I think it is. Maybe it's not. Anyway, the snow. We're going to add that to the background. So just ink it up with the Whisper White ink and randomly add some snow to the background. Up in the sky, the snow is falling. Okay, so it gives you an idea. Okay, so now we have our snow in the sky. Take this away. So let's take this piece. Well, first of all, let's take a white number 8 jelly roll pen and let's color the snow in on the trees so that you can, this is optional, but so that you can see that the snow is sitting on the branches. So we'll color all of this in on the trees. I just love these trees and the slope that they're sitting on. And they're perfect for this particular card. They're just the right size. Doesn't take very long to kind of mark these in with the pen, and it really makes a difference looking like there's snow on those branches there. We'll put the ones in the back. Just okay, so there's the snow on the trees, and now I think we're ready to put it together. So let's take this piece that we've stamped and let's glue it to the base. So I'm going to put the glue on here. Make sure you have it all around the edges so it doesn't peel away. All right, and so we'll square this on here. Kind of a little background frame for it. There we have that. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is take a ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to use a drawing pencil because it's much lighter. And you're going to come in about an inch from the edge. Let's take our sleigh rider here and put it on the card. First of all, let's take this piece. This is going to be the tab that's going to fit into the base to hold this at an angle. So let's cut up just a little bit from the top and the bottom, and then we're going to make a tab out of this. So just cut it into a tab shape like that. Okay, and let's do the same thing for this one. This one is going to be on the opposite end, so it's going to be down here. So we'll cut up a little bit on each edge and then make our tab. Like that. Okay, so you have a tab for that one, and you have a tab for this one, and they're on the opposite ends. Okay, get the scissors out of my hand. All right, so let's put this back on the bottom of the card, and we're going to measure 1 inch in from the edge of the card. Okay, so make just a little tick mark there at the 1 inch, and then you're going to bring this down, kind of fold it over the edge and hold it there, and you're going to bring this over. Sorry, I'm kind of all thumbs here. You're going to bring this over to the 1 inch, and you're going to make a line from the top and the bottom, and holding your ruler straight, straighter than I made the marks, you're going to make a mark from there to there. Okay, from there to there, and it should be wide enough. Actually, I may have to make it wider than that because this whole tab has to fit in there, so it's probably going to go up to here. We're going to erase this in the end, and you can put some more white paint over it or white ink if you need to. Okay, so there's that one. And then on this side, let's put them back on. I'll tell you what, let's glue this down. So we're going to open the tab and put lots of glue on there and fit it to the bottom of the card and wrap it around the back. Okay, just like that. Okay, so when this is let me get a bone folder here. We'll just roll this a little bit. When you mail it, it's going to be flat, but we want to make our slit so that we can put this in there. So let me get a cutting mat. I'm sorry, I should have had that out. Let's see if I can find a cutting mat here. And I don't see it. Well, we'll just cut it on the glass. So you're going to take your craft knife and a metal ruler, and you're going to cut down that line. Now you're cutting through 2 pieces of the cardstock base, so you want to press hard. Okay, and that should cut it all the way through, and you want to make sure that your little tab fits in there. So I need to make it just a little bit wider and make the tab just a little bit shorter. So I'll opt to make the tab a little shorter rather than cut down through the bottom of the card. So let's see. There we go. So it'll fit like that. Okay, so that's going to be that one. And then can erase the pencil mark. Then we're going to take this one and we're going to glue it to the back of the right hand side of the card by doing the same thing, putting the glue on the tab, folding it over the edge right at the bottom. Make sure it's right at the bottom, even with the bottom there. Okay, and so that's going to be to the back. So there you have that one. And so we're going to come in 1.25 inches from this side to make our slit in this piece to put the trees in. So we'll go an 1.25 inches from the fold line and make a mark. So 1.25 inches is right there. And then we'll bring our tab over. Let's bring our tab over to here. I'm just going to use it as a gauge. So we'll go about like that. And then we'll cut through that using the metal ruler again. This time it's a little easier because it's only through one layer. Okay, and let's erase the pencil mark that we made. Okay, so now we'll test it and see if it fits. So this tab goes in here, like that. And this tab goes in here, like that. And there you have your diorama card. Okay, and so the last thing to do would be to put on the sentiment. And I opted on the other one to cover up where the fold was, but you can put it in the center, you can put it to the side, you can put it up here, you can put it wherever you like, but I opted to put it here because it covered the fold, but it's not really necessary. You can put it wherever you want. So this one maybe I'll put in the center. But you have to make sure that it doesn't go over the edge of the card on the bottom so that it can fit in the envelope. So maybe I will put it over here again. So it's totally up to you where you want to put it. Okay, so if I'm to put it here to cover this, I'm just going to put the glue on this end. You don't want to glue to the tab at all. So press the tab underneath so that you don't catch it with the glue, and put down your sentiment there. I guess I better check to make sure it's right at the bottom because it has to be, let's see. So right about there. Okay. So I barely left the edge there, but there's the tab. So once again, we'll put this through here, put this one through here. It's very simple. There you have the sentiment on it. And then if you want to write a note on your card, just close this and you'll put a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 white cardstock, whisper white on the back, and you can put your sentiment there. Okay? So I hope that you could understand everything that I was showing you about this particular card, and enjoy. They're really fun to make. They're very simple, and they have a very lovely effect. Have a nice day.